Today we're going to make some sweet potato and chickpea burgers. These are vegetarian, but they can also be vegan. If you want them to be vegan, then if you're going to use cheese, then obviously use vegan cheese. Okay, so before we start, as ever, we wash hands really well, put on an apron, and then we get cooking. There are a few things that you need to prep in advance for this. And the first one you need to do is cook off the sweet potato. Now, the way I cook off my sweet potato is I cut off the ends and I score around the body, all the way around. So you put the knife in about that much. And obviously, if you're worried about this, please ask a grown-up, an adult, to do this because it's a bit dangerous, all right? And that's scoring. And that just means that when it comes to cooking, you end up with a potato, which is really easy to take the skin off. It literally just pulls off. And it also helps you to know when it's cooked, okay? So that's sweet potato. You could do this with just normal potato, or you could do a 50-50, but the potato needs to be cooked beforehand. So in here, I've got some chickpeas. All right, and all I've done is I've taken those chickpeas from a can, and all I'm going to do here is literally mash them using a fork. All right, you've got to work quite hard at this. If you have a Magimix or a mixer, you can obviously use that. Okay, and so you've got to really work at that. The chickpeas don't need to be cooked in advance. You just have to obviously take them out of the tin. I always wash mine just through some cold water before using them. Okay, so moving over to here, what I've done here is I've chopped up some onion. I've used red onion. You don't have to use red onion, but I have. You could use normal brown onions, or you could use spring onions. I've also put some garlic in there. And here's one that I've made earlier. So I've just cooked and coloured the onion and the garlic, and I'm just literally going to put a spoonful of that into my mixture just to give it a nice flavour. I'm going to go back and mix that all in. Now, when you season this, you can really season it with whatever you like. If you're spicy, you could put in spice. If you like curry, you could put in curry powder. As you all know, I love my coriander. It gives colour, flavour. The only thing I wouldn't put in here, as always, is salt. Lots of recipes might ask you for salt. And sometimes this recipe says you're going to fry them. But actually, I think they're nicer if they're not fried and they're baked in the oven. So what I'm going to do, just to finish that off, I'm going to put a little bit of cheese in there, just to give it extra flavour. All right. I'm going to put in a little bit of paprika. Now that is hot, spicy paprika, so I'm not going to go mad. A little bit of mustard powder, and I've got some mixed herbs here, just a little bit, just to give it that extra bit of flavour. And again, a good mix. And then you need to get yourself some breadcrumbs. Now you can either use bought breadcrumbs from the shops, just get them ready made, or you can make your own. It's completely up to you. And you don't actually have to use breadcrumbs. So if you have anyone in the family who has allergies, or you think you'd rather not, you don't need to. Okay, so we've got lovely clean hands. Here, I've got my breadcrumbs. And all I'm going to do is take a small amount of the mixture. I'm going to roll it in my hand. And then I am literally going to just pop it onto the breadcrumbs, turn it over, roll it around. And that's the first one. For this mixture, I reckon you should get about 4. Depends on how big you make them, obviously, but try and make them roughly the same size. Always make them the same size so that when they cook, they will cook evenly. So let's see if I can just finish those off. Then I'm going to put those onto a baking tray, and I'm going to bake them in an oven, 200 degrees. Gas mark 6, and they will probably take, it will really depend on how big they are or even size you make them. They'll probably take only about 15, maybe 10, 15 minutes, this sort of size. Okay, so keep an eye on them because obviously the potato is already cooked. So I'm just going to pop those onto a piece of paper. You don't have to put them onto a piece of paper. You can put them just straight onto a baking tray as long as it's nice and clean, or you can put them into a dish, but you actually want them to bake, which is important so that the heat goes all over. So there you have them. All right, that's before cooking. Pop them in the oven and they'll be ready in about 10-15 minutes. Enjoy.